HR deleted my harassment records and promoted my abuser. I published the emails. I filed a formal sexual harassment complaint against my company's CEO 18 months ago. I had emails. I had a timeline. I had a witness. HR conducted what they called an investigation. 6 weeks later, they told me they had found no evidence of wrongdoing and closed the complaint. A month after that, I discovered the records of my complaint had been removed from the HR system. 2 months after that, the CEO was promoted to a group position with a 40% pay increase. I published the emails on a public platform the day of his promotion announcement. I have been threatened with legal action. I do not regret it. I want to be clear about one thing before I tell you what happened. I kept copies of everything. This will matter to the story. I had worked at the company for 4 years when the conduct began. The CEO, Marcus Hale, began what I would describe as a sustained campaign of targeted behavior toward me over approximately a 6-month period. I will not list everything here because the list is long and because the emails I published speak for themselves. What I will say is that it escalated, and that when I made it clear I was not going to respond the way he wanted me to, it escalated further. I filed the formal HR complaint in March of last year. I submitted printed copies of the relevant emails and a written timeline. I named a witness, a colleague who had been present for one of the incidents. HR assigned an investigator. I was interviewed for 2 hours. My witness was interviewed. I was told the process would take 4 to 6 weeks. 6 weeks became 9. At 9 weeks, I received a letter stating that the investigation had found no evidence of wrongdoing and the complaint was being closed. No explanation of how the evidence I had submitted was assessed. No finding in relation to the specific incidents I had documented. Just no evidence found. 4 weeks after the closure letter, I asked HR for my complaint file, as I was entitled to under the subject access request process. They told me there was no record of a complaint having been filed. No record of a complaint I had submitted in person with a receipt. I had copies. I have had copies of everything from the beginning. I had the receipt for the submission. I had email confirmation of my witness interview. I engaged a solicitor. The solicitor advised that I had grounds for a tribunal claim and that the destruction of records was a serious matter. I began the tribunal process. While that process was in the early stages, Marcus Hale was announced as the new group chief executive. The announcement was made on a Tuesday morning via company-wide email. I read it at 9:17 a.m. I had the compiled emails published on LinkedIn with full identifying information. By 10:04 a.m., am I the asshole? Update, 8 months later. The company sent a legal letter within 24 hours of publication, threatening action for defamation and breach of confidentiality. My solicitor responded. The emails I published are true and documented. Defamation requires falsity. They have not proceeded with that threat. The LinkedIn post reached, by the 3rd day, enough traction that 2 journalists contacted me. I spoke to one of them. The story was published. 3 other women at the same company made contact with my solicitor in the weeks that followed. Marcus Hale has stepped back from the group CEO position pending an independent review. The company has described this as voluntary. His lawyers have described the published emails as taken out of context. The emails are emails. There is no context that changes them. The employment tribunal is continuing. The destruction of my HR records is, per my solicitor, the most legally significant element. It transforms what might have been a disputed harassment claim into something with much harder edges. I was offered a settlement 3 months after the publication. I turned it down. The settlement came with a non-disclosure agreement. I have already disclosed. I do not see the point. 4 other women have now filed complaints. I do not know what their outcome will be. I know that the Tuesday morning announcement is what moved me to act when I acted. If they had appointed him to anything less prominent, at any quieter moment, I might have waited for the tribunal. They chose Tuesday morning. Company-wide email. I had 47 minutes. NTA or AITA? Was the LinkedIn post the right move, or should she have waited for the tribunal? Comment below.